Hi everyone, my name is Kayla. Welcome back to Kay's Hidden Shelf, where we talk about books. Today we are going to have some fun with a book tag, specifically the reread, rewrite, or burn book tag. I was tagged in this by Leslie over at the Nerdy Narrative. I'll leave a link where you can find her channel and her take on this book tag. So how this works is I've already gone off to Goodreads and pulled a list of all the books in my read category. Now, I haven't included all of the books I've read from all time, but just the ones that I've recorded on Goodreads over the last couple years. So not everything is going to be on here, but from that list, I had 92 books, and I actually asked my other half to pick 3 random numbers 6 times. So there's going to be 6 sets of books here with 3 books in each set, and he had no idea what was on the Excel sheet, what books he was picking, and I went ahead and matched those numbers up with the corresponding book title. Not all of the books I am going to be talking about today I have as a physical copy, so you'll see some as a physical version and others as just a cover to my side as I either read it on an ebook or an audiobook or borrowed it from my library. So let's dive into the first set of 3 books. Now, the first number that was picked was 92, and this was Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, and this is book 1 in the Frelsarien trilogy. The next number that was picked was 91, and that was Death by Black Hole by Neil deGrasse Tyson. Now, not all of these are going to be in the same genre, so this is going to make it, I guess, extra hard because I'm going to be comparing things that are not in the same category, so to speak. The next one that was picked was number 1, and that was The Frelsarien Battle of Eirbor by Lynette. So from these 3, I would reread Assassin's Apprentice, I would rewrite The Frelsarien, and I would burn Death by Black Hole. Now, the reason for this is that Assassin's Apprentice is a phenomenal book that I want to reread anyway, and the Frelsarien Battle of Eirbor, it was okay for me. It was an okay read. There were aspects that I would like to rewrite or see rewritten. And then Death by Black Hole, I know this is a science book, and I do enjoy science books, but the problem with that one for me was that it was overly repetitive in an unnecessary way. I know it's trying to educate its readers, but there's only so much you can cover in the same level of the topic. Just essentially it was way too repetitive on the same information. So yeah, that's those 3. Let's move on to set number 2. And the first one that was picked for this was 25, and that is The Subtle Knife by Philip Pullman. This is book 2 in his Dark Materials trilogy. And the next one after that is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and that was number 35. We also have number 75, and that was The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. So out of these 3, I would reread The Subtle Knife. I would rewrite The Starless Sea. And I apologize, I know a lot of people love that book. It was okay for me, but yeah, I would rewrite The Starless Sea and I would burn Dark Matter. I really enjoyed The Subtle Knife. It was darker than I expected, especially for the age group that it is written for, and I love the trilogy so far in his Dark Materials. So I would definitely reread The Subtle Knife, and The Starless Sea, it was okay for me. I know so many people love it, and I'm so sorry that I don't love it as much, but yeah, it was okay. I just didn't get all the hype for it, but I did love Erin Morgenstern's other book, The Night Circus. That was fantastic. This one it wasn't the same experience for me, unfortunately. Dark Matter was okay. I mean, I wouldn't personally reread it, and would I recommend it? Maybe. I think it depends on what your interests are in reading books. For me, I thought this was going to be something I would enjoy, and I mean, overall I did, but it wasn't as thriller or as hyped as it was made out to be when I had been recommended it. Yeah, I just didn't really vibe with that one. It just wasn't everything that I had heard it to be. And of course, it was all very hush-hush because it's all twists and plots, right? So yeah, it just didn't work for me, unfortunately. Moving on to set number 3, we have the first one, which is 32, and that was Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. The next one was 28, and that was Emma by Jane Austen. And the last one in this set was 46, and that was An Unkindness of Magicians by Kat Howard. Out of these 3, I would reread Ariadne, I would rewrite Emma, and unfortunately I would burn An Unkindness of Magicians. Now, it's so hard to explain the logic behind these because it's hard to choose. But Ariadne, I really enjoyed, and I think I would like to reread it anyway because there are definitely things I missed in it, even though I really enjoyed the book. The tale and how it's told, it's just a reimagining of a Greek mythology, but it was done in a way that really made me feel for the characters. So absolutely love that. Emma was okay. I definitely see the prose of Emma, and the way it's written is beautiful. How the story is told is, it's pretty straightforward of a story. But Emma as a character herself was a little annoying to me. And then An Unkindness of Magicians, that one was okay. It had a lot of buildup with not enough payoff for me. So yeah, Ariadne reread, Emma rewrite, and An Unkindness of Magicians I would unfortunately burn. In set number 4, we have 16, and that is The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. We also have 82, and that is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis, and that's book 1 in the Chronicles of Narnia. And then we also have number 50, and that was Once Upon a Time in the North by Philip Pullman, and that one is a novella. Out of these 3, I would reread The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, and I would rewrite Once Upon a Time in the North and burn The Lion and the Witch and the Wardrobe. Yes, yeah. I loved The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I love Neil Gaiman's style of writing and how he just makes fantasy tales more adult and dark, but also interesting and not too dark to be traumatizing to the reader, at least this reader anyway. And then The Lion and the Witch and the Wardrobe, I have a soft spot for it, but there are some things that I would like to see done differently. I don't know how to describe it. When I compare it up with Once Upon a Time in the North, I just feel like I'd rather rewrite Once Upon a Time in the North, and see more of the background and the characters in that. But yeah, it's just stacked up against each other. That's how they're gonna play out, I think. Yes, that's how they're gonna play out. Continuing with these difficult decisions, we have set number 5, and the first one is number 6, and that is The Girl in the Tower by Katherine Arden, which is book 2 in the Winternight trilogy. We have 29, and that is Dragons of Autumn Twilight, and that is by Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman, and that's part of the Dragonlance Chronicles, the first one, I believe. We also have 77, and that is The Emperor's Soul by Brandon Sanderson. This is going to be harder than I'd like it to be because there are 2 of my favorite books on here, and I don't know how I'm going to choose between them. So I'm going to go in reverse order, if that's okay, and I am going to burn Dragons of Autumn Twilight. Unfortunately, it just wasn't for me. I had a really hard time finishing that book. I just spent way too much time being angry with the story and the characters, unfortunately. So yeah, it wasn't for me. I know it's a nostalgic favorite for some, but no, I'm sorry. I just couldn't do that one. And then out of the other 2, I would, that's such a hard choice. Okay, I would reread The Girl in the Tower, and I would rewrite The Emperor's Soul. The reason for this is that there is so much depth in the Winternight trilogy, including in The Girl in the Tower. There's just so much to it, from the story to the characters, so many layers that you can break down, that I would love to reread and do just that, is just break down everything that I had missed or overlooked in my first reading. And The Emperor's Soul, I would love to see more of that world and that story, so I would definitely want to do a rewrite for that. Moving along to set number 6, this is our last set too. We have 60, and that was Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. We also have 41, which was Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, and this was book 2 in the Red Rising saga. We also have 52, The House on the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. So from these, I would reread The House on the Cerulean Sea. I would, such a hard choice between the next two. I would rewrite Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and I would burn Golden Sun. Please don't come at me, fans of the series. I am also a fan of the series. Just Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is a very nostalgic story for me. So I've read it and watched all the adaptations since I was a child, and I can't put it in the last category. But Golden Sun, compared to The House on the Cerulean Sea, if I had to pick between the two, and the reason I would say reread for The House on the Cerulean Sea is that it's just such a feel-good story. It touches all the heartstrings, and there's found family. There's just so many tropes and things that I love in it that make me feel happy at the end of reading it. So Golden Sun leaves me kind of stressed, just because of, the type of story it is. So yeah. All right, so that is the end of the tag. Now I do need to tag a few other people. I will tag Kate at the Literary Apothecary, Roger from Rogers Reads, and Stephanie over at Miss Richards Reads. Also, if you are watching this, you make videos, and you think this would be fun, feel free to do this tag as well. Consider yourself tagged. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, take care of yourselves.